It is really awesome to catch up with you again.
You too.
I really appreciate that. Obviously, we've got some good news coming out for Alex in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, I'm sitting here talking to you. There's some good news at the end of the tunnel, I guess you could say.
You know, it's an interesting. They had an interesting story problem because how do you continue her character forward, and in what way are we going to make it interesting for the audience? And they've done a really spectacular job this year. So she ends up kind of in this liminal state, and the question is how long is she going to be there for?
Right.
Is she going to transition over? And because also it develops a different side to the relationship with Charlie because she sees that. And then, as the season progresses, you start to see how this experience has tilted everything once again
Right.
in their lives, in their relationship. They're kind of an unlucky couple at this point, unlucky in love.
Well, I do love, though, that each season feels quite different in terms of what's actually kind of going on for both your characters,
Mm-hmm.
really.
Mm-hmm.
The big revelation in this first episode, I mean, it feels like it really, I guess it's one of those things you don't know you missed it until you kind of get more about Alex's past.
Yeah, that's how I feel too when I read the scripts and that sort of thing. You kind of wonder how are they going to continue this story forward and keep it fresh for everyone. But this season is a rebirth as well, and it's seen now because of the things that Alex has been through. Now this other world is seen through her perspective, not Charlie's as much, even though he's in the everyday and he's still dealing with the liminal state, I like to call it.
Right.
But here Alex is the one that's having these different journeys, and you're seeing that through her eyes, and you're allowed to learn a little bit more about her character that way.
And it's also almost profound in a way because we've seen everything from his side.
Mm-hmm.
To now kind of go further and get kind of a taste of what's actually going on kind of behind the veil
Mm-hmm.
is kind of a big change, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really proud of the way they reinvented this season, and there's a lot of upsets and surprises and crazy medical stories coming up, and they've just really done a great job of balancing all of that, plus really bringing in more relationships
Right.
for everybody that last a long time, that don't last a long time, but you're able to fall in love with some of these other characters that are also part of our ensemble, which is great.
And I mean, I know you're filming right now. What's it like? I've always heard actors say that each season feels a little different. What's it like playing this season? Because obviously it's fairly different for your character, especially.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a wild ride for her. She's had to make some massive shifts and changes, and so as an actress, coming up with how that happened, where does that come from, how do you make that something that is truthful and real for people to engage with,
Right.
and also just kind of letting go and going with it and realizing, it's great, I get to play her humanity,
Right.
and I get to be really human here, so I've enjoyed that.
And it's a lot outside the hospital too, really. I mean, in terms of
They've given us, each person has their own journey, myself, Charlie, and Joel's characters, and so each one of us gets to kind of head off in a different direction, which is nice, and
Right.
introduce new characters, and they all, we're all exploring in a very different way.
That's cool.
So as actors, you're kind of going, oh my goodness, this is so different, how am I going to apply this? But I really believe the audience is going to love it.
And I mean, I think it adds such a great depth because, I mean, Saving Hope, I mean, there's been a lot around the hospital, but to actually venture so far out,
Mm-hmm.
it feels like a new adventure almost, I guess you could say. But
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, again, they've done such a good job because there is so much that's central to the hospital, but they've brought so much drama into it
Right.
via their characters that it feels fresh.
Even the first episode feels like there's a lot more going on between the characters than we've seen before.
Yes, and they just continually turn the page every episode. And you get
Nice.
to have a new revelation, so that's nice.
What have you had a revelation in playing Alex this season? Is there something that you really stumbled on or found during the season so far?
You know what? Like I had mentioned before, I think that it's just because of all the transitions that she's making, but I think it's art imitating life or vice versa. It's just the idea that because Alex, what she's gone through and that massive shift in her consciousness, she she doesn't quite know what she wants to do. And so she's just realizing that each choice leads to a different destiny, and where is that going to be, and what's best for her. And so that's caused me to have a couple of those moments as well, and I had to kind of push her aside and go, okay, wait a minute, let's look at this logically.
What's it been like? You've got a couple new faces around the show this season. What's it been like for you playing off some new faces?
You know, it's fun for all of us to get to kind of switch it up a bit, I think, you know, and so they bring in new dynamics to the entire show. We have a character, Sydney Katz, that comes in and she plays a OBGYN gynecologist, and she has a great, interesting, really fun relationship with the Maggie character. So that's how they're sprinkling everything this year, and it's good.
What's your long-term hope? I mean, a lot of shows, 5, 7 years. How long would you like to take this? Do you have a specific dream?
Not in time. I think that my dream is that we just tell the story and tell it properly, and come to the conclusion in a good manner, so that the whole thing is encapsulated and comes back around to some of the questions we asked when we started, so that people can watch it as a kind of a bookended life lesson kind of show.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, any little tease you can give us for something we can watch for later on in the season?
I thought I was teasing already. I'm skating the line right now.
Oh, you can be more general than specific.
I feel, and because it's been so different for me as well, it is the most exciting season yet, because you become so engaged with these characters, and there's going to be a little of the Team Joel, Team Alex thing, Team Charlie thing going on. So you'll be able to pick your favorite flavor.
Nice.
There you go.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.